All right, this is my presentation of the walleye. I'll turn this water off. I got the other walleye in the sink soaking in water. A nice guy here. Like I was trying to show you in the video that I caught, this is why we don't grab them by the mouth. You can see the teeth in the mouth of the walleye. Not a fish. Look at those fangs that you want to grab by the mouth, but nevertheless, very good to eat. A lot of fishermen are crazy about these fish. Delicious. Oh my God. You have a walleye sandwich, you'll know it. Anyways, so here's my presentation of the walleye. We hooked up. We went fishing out earlier tonight. I did a live video feed from Facebook for the first time ever. I didn't have the camera mounted on my head right, but it's nighttime, it was dark, and that's just the way it was. I did the best I could. So anyways, let's get to filleting this walleye. I filleted the other ones, and I'm gonna fillet all of them on film. It's the same process. Anyways, again, we're right behind the gill plate, excuse me. I'm tired, very tired. In the back of the head, and we make an incision from the chest, behind the gill plate, back of the head, all the way up to the top of the spine, like that. See? And then we flip it around, same way we did the other fish, the other presentations that I've done videos on. Same thing, and same thing, top of the spine. I'm on the other side, behind the gill blade, gill plate, whatever you want to call it. I switch it up from time to time when I'm talking, and down to the chest cavity. So we have our incision from the chest cavity, going along behind the gill blade, all the way up to the side of the spine, and then from this side of the top of the spine, I should say, all the way down to the chest cavity for that incision. And then you take your fillet knife and you run it right on the side of the spine, the dorsal fin. Come up again, your incision, as I've said before in other videos, maybe 1/4 of an inch in. You don't want to go too deep. You don't want to penetrate any organs and spoil your meat. You won't really spoil it, but you don't have to deal with guts or anything this way. This is one of the reasons why we fillet. We just want the meat, right? So, and then once you get past the organs, the stomach and stuff, stick it through his tail like I just did, and then come straight through. Right along the spine. You can feel the spine as you're going down, right? All the way through the tail, like that. It's a very sharp knife. Now, I've seen videos, because the walleye do have what they call a Y bone, and they cut out a Y. I don't do all of that. I do my fish the same way. It works just as well. I've seen the videos. I've never learned how to do it like that. I know what they're talking about. I see the Y bone, but I just don't do it like that. Once I made my incision on the side of that spine, I just follow it through. When I come back in and get my fillet off and go down to the spinal bone right here, can't go any deeper, that's going to stop you. And then I come along the side of that spine, and where the bones come out from around the rib cage and its vital organs, I stay away from them. And see, and this is the Y bone that they're talking about, how they cut it out. What I do is I'll take my fillet knife. Be very careful of doing it this way, because your knife is kind of pointed up at you, so you want to stay away from it a little bit. And as you separate the meat off the bones, try to do it gently. Sometimes it'll pop out like it just did, but I'm back far enough, and I'm not applying so much pressure where I'm gonna get myself. But yep, and I'm just separating the meat from the bones. That's all, that Y bone that they talk about. And see, then I go back in and I shave down along the side of those bones, just like that. That's how I do it, and that nice fillet comes right off there. This is the tricky part, because sometimes you can mess up a fillet. I do it sometimes when I'm coming down, if I'm not careful, and I'll rip the fillet, and I don't want any rips of my fillet. I don't want to mess up any of my meat. I know how to salvage my meat though if I do make those kind of errors, and you will too if you do this enough. It's not brain science, it's just something you have to do over and over again and figure out what methods work. See how I just did that? Now I could have stopped that fillet right there and I would have been missing some meat. So matter of fact, I'm gonna cut into it. I'm all about meat content, and you want your meat off these walleyes, trust me, because they are delicious. So got about all the meat I'm gonna get off that side of the fillet there, and I'm gonna keep shaving it right down until the very end, so that way, and that's the end. See, you can see the white meat there. I stick my knife through it like that, then I'm just gonna run it up this way, get that part of the fillet off it, and do the same here. Run it right here along this white meat and get that side of the fillet. Now see, that's a nice fillet off that walleye. And if you look in the sink, you will see the other fillets. I got some really nice fillets off these walleyes. It's a really good night. I got some nice walleyes. I got four altogether, 2 smaller ones and 2 pretty big ones. But even the smaller ones were pretty good size. So, all right, so here's the other side of this fillet. I already made my incision behind the gill plate, up to the top of the spine, down to the chest cavity. So that's already made. So I'm just going back in along the side of the spine like that, 1/4 of an inch, and staying on the side of that bone. And I'm just following that bone. That's all I'm doing, is following that bone all the way down, just like this. Sometimes you can, that's why I slide it like this, because sometimes you can go on the other side of the bone. It's not impossible. In fact, it's very easy to do. But if you stay in the guides of 1/4 of an inch and you keep it close to you, you won't do that. Now I'm past the organs. There's that bottom fin there, and I'm just gonna come right through the tail. See that? I can feel the bone, so I know I'm up along the spine. Now see, I can open that up, and then I'm just gonna go right down to the spine. See that? And actually, this is a really nice fillet. It came open right on the side of the spine, so that was a perfect incision. See, I'm right on the side here, but we got the Y bone in the walleye, so I'm gonna have to separate that from the bone. So I come up from the tail end, because the Y bone doesn't go all the way down there, and I start trimming it. Matter of fact, I just heard a bone crunch, so I know that I'm hitting bones in this area. If you look, well, I don't have the camera that close, but you can see the little bones. So what I do, like I did on the other one, is I just run it up through and separate the meat from the bones, and it's nothing to it. I don't have that knife deeply embedded into this fish carcass at all. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna continue my fillet right on the side. That stride there was a little bit deeper than what I was going, but that's the beauty of it. Now watch this. There you go. I heard a crunch too, so that may have some bone in it. And like I said, so the fillets are pretty much going to have no bones in it. My fillets are, I'm going to say, on average, are 95 to 98% boneless, sometimes 100% boneless, but that 98, 95% is not going to hurt nothing. Trust me. You will feel it, and you'll spit it right out. But for the most part, you will not feel any bones in my fillet. Now see, this one started to rip a little bit sooner. If it was up to me, I would have got that front 1/4 piece of it, and it, not even a 1/4 piece, but I am sort of a perfectionist when it comes to getting my meat off these fish, because I mean, these are big fish, and it would be a shame to not get as much meat off these fish as possible for a good fillet, as big as these walleye are. And you know, you only shorten yourself if you don't take the time and fillet them right, and you're not going to get a big, nice, clean, healthy fillet like that. That is beautiful. Again, I don't do like I saw the videos with the wide bones on the walleye. I do it the same way I do all of my other fish, straight down to that spine bone, and then I shave along that side spine bone around the rib cage where it's protecting the heart, the liver, and lungs and all that. Well, I don't even know if they have lungs, but those vital organs. And you just shave right around that rib cage, and then with that wide bone, you come back up, just put the tip of the knife in and just separate what little bit of bones are still attached to the meat, come back all the way up to the head, so you can have a pretty boneless fillet, and voila, and then continue cutting off the rest of your fillet. Now, something that I've been doing, this may gross you out, I hope it don't, I haven't done this in a while. I am going to cut the head off this walleye because I am going to be making fish soup, right? And I got to break it, right? So I can start cutting it off, right? And some people call it fish head soup, people down south and all that, but essentially it's fish soup. And so in the past, I have cut the head off and cut the whole carcass off, and scraped out the guts and stuff, and thrown it in water and made a broth out of it. And then you cut up your fillet. Well, I'll describe all that to you when I do a video of making fish soup. But walleye are so good that I had to cut the head off because we're gonna put that in the soup, okay? And we're gonna make fish soup. I'll save that for another segment of We Hooked Up. It's your boy, We Hooked Up. Signing off. Stay tuned. Follow us. Follow me. I will not lead you down a dead end street. Okay? Thank you for your support. Stay tuned. I'm tired. I'm getting off here.